Fungus Jake here, back with another video. This one is my wife and I platooned up in E25s on Studzanki, and this of course is from one of her past streams. I recorded this probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, and just now getting around to doing the actual video on it. But it's the two E25s, and we are mid-tier. This is a tier 8 battle on Studzanki, and as much as I've always liked this map, they are really doing whatever they can, wargaming that is, to kind of reduce the role of any stealthy, snipey tank destroyers and long-range mediums. And I guess the challenger here has decided that he's had enough of this map and he's out. And I'm displaying some very poor gunnery here. At least 2 of the shells hit the vehicle. One didn't pen the turret, and the second actual hit landed after he'd already been destroyed. And then our Gowicka gets taken out in return, because of course he fired from the bushes right there on the little ridge line from F3 to H3, and if you fire from there, you're gonna get detected. And he didn't pull back in time. So now, after 4 shells spent for no damage, I'm over here trying to do what I can along with my wife to support the Juto, and the VK is going to receive some better gunnery courtesy of my 7.5 L70. Now basically, like I had said, they've taken away a lot of the traditional positions. Like, you used to be able to sit on these train tracks, and as long as you stayed back far enough, you can actually fire and help your heavies right there in the, you'd say, it's an industrial complex, really. But they've eliminated the ability for you to be able to get a clear line of sight and a clear line of fire. And more, you're just seeing that on each map where they reduce long-range engagements and try to put it into short-range engagements, because that's, well, quite simple. It's simpler gameplay. You don't have to know the vision system. You don't have to know how to detect a tank destroyer or learn where, common positions are for a long-range medium or tank destroyer to be sitting. If you're 50 meters apart, you're going to spot each other instantly, and hit the number 2 key and shoot right through each other instantly. Kind of dumbs the gameplay down. So it is refreshing to actually be able to do well with a stealthy tank destroyer, and that's what the E25. It basically lives and dies on stealth and its DPM, because it's tiny, it's quick, and it does not have much punch for a tier 7 tank destroyer, but it really cranks out the shots. This is another area of the map that's changed completely to, again, eliminate long-range engagements. And you're seeing me basically almost wandering around trying to find a spot that I can, be of use, because my gun needs to be firing when there's targets lit. But there used to be a great spot there at the junction of K12 where there's some trees, you could knock them over, and you had shots to cover that southern flank. And here I am just testing out new positions, and none of them are very good. The only time I'd get a shot, and I'm realizing it very quickly, the only time I'd get a shot is if the T-34-3 actually pushed up past the buildings. They've taken away the concealment, and they've added more buildings here, so that you basically have to do, unfortunately what the Nashorn did was get too close. Or what I'm doing here is I'm kind of able to make use of the concealment, because some of these bushes here have very, very little concealment value. I was able to get away with it because this is a much stealthier vehicle. Like, see, that Scorpion is behind bushes, but he's detected anyways, just like the Nashorn was. And here, that might have been an unlucky shot for me, but it still gets the VK killed. Now this engagement down here isn't going so well. This is where two of our tier 8s were. And you'd think that they'd have a good push down here because of it. The VK100 and the Progetto 46. But they're actually being beaten back by the enemy tier 7s. And, I mean, they had the support of the T-34-3 and a Scorpion, but it's the tier 7s and 6s that are doing most of the work down here. And I'm watching as the Progetto's losing health, the VK's getting hit, and I am still not being of a whole lot of use. And I realize that Progetto is going down any second now. So I'm already motoring away. And sure enough, he does. And despite most of the enemies seemingly having pushed down here, we still have lost the middle and the industrial complex area. Their Oni is pushed right through because he's been backed up by the VK7501K. That's because our VK100 wasn't there. And with the Juto in the north, that left a KV-1S to try to do what he can. And he is under-armored and undergunned for the matchups he's in. But he's actually still alive and doing something. So now I flex all the way back down up here after going all the way down to the south because I'm looking to see if I can get some sneaky shots into the Oni. So originally it looked like he was actually going to push around and through. And I'm looking to see if any of this is destructible, and none of it is. So the Oni is in a good position for himself and bad for me. Of course, you see my wife's actually went all the way to the east, and she's been doing some work over there. And now I immediately realize, oh wait a minute, they've already flanked around, which is quite a bit quicker than I expected. And I can see why. It's the VK and the Hellcat, two very mobile vehicles. So now I have to try to get rid of these guys. And then I can work on trying to help with the Oni. So reset cap first. I really need to eliminate the VK and the Hellcat. Particularly the VK, because eyes win games. And here I am. I had to laugh at myself for that shot. The house is destroyed. But the Hellcat actually gets away, which is not good. Especially, even more so, the VK. Because now, I really suspect the VK is going to have heat loaded, come in, and that's a very quick way to lose a huge chunk of health in an E25. Because the VK's heat does 350. That's 350 average damage. But instead, I think he actually makes a mistake here. He pulls around all the way to the north and bypasses me, which allows me to get some very sneaky shots into the Oni. And now the VK is just running around in between two E25s. And between my wife and I, he goes down. Now I am spotted, so I am hugging this house here like it's my best friend. And instead of staying exactly there, I can't. I have to do something, but I make a mistake here. As you see, when I pulled around, I pulled too far around. And that got me spotted with the gap of the bushes to the right. And so now I am low health. And that was a big, costly mistake. And here, I make a second one. I'm still not unspotted. It's at least 10 seconds for you to go unspotted. Because nobody here should have the improved radio set. tier 8's where you can start to mount that. But everybody that's left is not tier 8. So now I should be able to sneak 2 shots into the Cheeto, or Chiri, and finish him off. But now we've lost our Juto. And now my wife and I are split up and isolated. And this is where I'm making the decision right now. She's telling me she can't get out. Because I was actually saying, can you get out? Because she's trapped there. She has a little rock. And unfortunately, she'd made the exact same mistake I did. She pulled out but without being unspotted. And she's clicking to show me the Nashorn. But I am actually I'm telling her in person, because we sit beside each other when we play, and I'm sitting beside her saying, I can't worry about the Nashorn. I've got to get some distance. And my first thought is to come down here and knock a couple trees down and look for them to push to the cap. Like if the Nashorn drives straight south, if the Cheeto SP comes straight to cap, if all 3 of them push, that would be a good position. But then I'm double thinking, and I'm thinking, what if that Oni simply comes straight south from the industrial complex and he's crossing this open ground? And there he is. Which was ideal. He was the one I was most worried about. Because while the APCR on this has plenty of pen to go through, I don't want to leave that up to a RNG possible mistake of, oh, low pen, low pen, low pen. And then he spots me and kills me. Because he has 175 frontal armor. That's dead on at about 300 meters range. My APCR's pen is falling off enough that if he's even at a slight angle, it becomes about 50-50. Now the side shot there was perfect. So now I'm coming down here, I'm looking for, he's probably clicked where he got shot from. So I'm thinking the Cheeto SP is going to be coming looking for me. And I don't remember what health he was on. I know I can see what it shows up at the kill counter and the team bar. It shows that they have 338 between the 2 of them. So one of them is going to be a 1-shot, and one of them is going to be a 2-shot. And I don't know which is which. So I'm trying to maneuver to find where I think they might have an approach angle. And there's the Cheeto. And now I know, oh wait a minute, he's the single shot. So the Nashorn, who I'm not actually as concerned about, although the Nashorn has done well to this point. The Nashorn actually was the one driving the farthest. And I'm spotted. I can't risk trying to get the second shot in, because that shot there went low, and it looks like it's going to take me still 2 shots for the Nashorn. The Cheeto SP was so low health that my estimations were a little off, because I was believing that the Cheeto was going to be a little more healthy than he was. So now they are going to hop on cap. Now here's where they make a big mistake. They had enough time to cap and force my hand, but the Cheeto decides to come at me, and I don't know what the Nashorn's doing. I don't know where he went, what he's thinking, and I would have thought he was coming either right at me or going right to cap. They had time to cap, but no, he actually had immediately went to the buildings and was hunting, and that's why the Cheeto SP started the cap and then got off of it. So now all I have to do is outrun the Nashorn's gun, and I knew it was going to take more than 1 shot. I just can't quite get the gun around He makes the mistake of going to the low ground, which gives me a acceleration advantage, and I can finish him off. It only took 1 HP on that final shot. Our T-37's been watching the whole time. Not an ace, but it was all the right moves at the right time despite a slow start. And quite interestingly enough, you'll see that both my wife and I had the exact same damage dealt. Now, I had dealt more, I guess, to higher tier targets, and I also had a little spotting, so I got more experience. And we even had the same amount of kills. But I hope you enjoyed the game, and thanks for watching.